Why's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but can't be your son, that you can't vote. William Jewell. Well, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on notifications so you can get all new content. When I posted, I just came here to articulate and give you my detail from a close-up and far-away perspective, microscopic and telescopic viewpoint, right? Because that's what the game has been missing, right? As Joel Santana said, I'm what the game has been missing. Informative, entertaining, and just outside the box. So at the same time, I can give you a perspective that you never thought of before. And that's what I aim to do. That's what I've been doing, I feel like. And that's what I'm going to keep on doing. And I do it for the people that show me love, that show me support. I do it for the people that just need that different point of view. And a lot has been happening. I don't got a whole bunch of notes, but I do got some topics that I want to talk about. Right, and we already know about the elephant in the room, right? We already know what we have to talk about because this is going to be the headlines. This is going to be the news. But we got to talk about Drake, right? And the thing about Drake is he does it again. And I feel like that's his superpower at this point. That's his skill set. That's what he's able to do, no matter if he's not able to do what we expect him to do musically or what we want him to do musically. His superpower is staying relevant, getting attention, being funny, right? Being petty, right? And pretty much just kind of flexing his muscle in essence, right? Whether it becomes to suing UMG, staying in a lawsuit with a major record label, or whether it comes to just big boy and some of these smaller artists like he's done in the past in his career. But one thing that remains is his superpower is staying relevant, and he's been able to stay relevant for the last 15 years, stay in the forefront. And everybody's saying it's the dot era, and I believe so too. I think this is Kendrick Lamar's era. I think Drake music and substance has definitely taken a back seat, and real hip hop, right, or traditional hip hop is back. More lyricists, more wordplay, just more attention and detail to the actual artistry in the music. And we got to talk about this Iceman, right? We got to talk about the episode 1. We got to talk about Richard or Robert Kaczynski, right? Because that's what they're talking about when it comes to Drake, this moniker, this new alter ego, the Iceman. Is this what the album is going to be called, or is this just an alter ego or moniker that Drake is taking on? Iceman, cold-hearted, right? Being cold, right? Because a lot of people had turned their backs on him. A lot of people have given him the cold shoulder. Now, you can imagine what that does to you internally. And no matter if Drake is a narcissist, or his ego is so inflated, or he's so arrogant that he thought he did nothing wrong. But if you feel betrayed, you feel betrayed, and nothing nobody could do can make you see it another way. Right? If there's no self-accountability, then all you can do is point the finger. All you can do is blame others. Right? Because at the end of the day, if we take the women aside and we just think about the career and the sustainability and the overall success and the money that these records that Drake did, all features, all favors that they did for some of these rappers' career, then if we take all the other stuff and put that to the side, then we could see why he's upset, right? Because at the same time, You know what I'm saying? It's always MOB, right? Even if he did some backhanded stuff behind the back, even if he did some snake stuff, right? We got to take that on the chin, and we got to know that these industry women move how they move. So if you're a real G, a real stand up guy, you know that business is business, and business will be done as business is being done, right? And you understand that comes with the industry, right? If somebody's pillow talking, giving information, talking down on your name, right? You got to understand that it's okay, because that's the industry games. You could hate it or you could play it, right? And if you don't want to play it, if you want to be a real one, then you could take some issue with it. But I feel like from Drake's perspective, he's looking at it as, if no matter what I did to you as far as sleeping with another woman, it still doesn't take precedent over what I've done for your career in totality. These women wouldn't even want you if I didn't do what I did for you in your career. So, I mean, kind of when you look at it a little bit and change the perspective and try to see it from his point of view, I think you can make a case. But when we talking about overall principles, overall just honorable accountability, responsibility, friendship, right? When we talk about those codes, then it doesn't matter how you want to sway it, but what's real is what's real. Right now, when we go into the Iceman, right? He had the truck. He was driving a big 18-wheeler, or probably not an 18-wheeler, but definitely a container truck. Right? And people were talking about the containers that Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free was behind, or that was behind them on the Not Like Us video, making a correlation about sex trafficking and how Drake was tone deaf and still was doing a music video in a container, driving around Toronto with a container truck, not realizing what he's actually saying or what he's actually perpetuating, right? And then we talk about the guns. He's suing, but he's on this video with a whole bunch of guns. And then just back to DJ Head's point, DJ Head's tweet is somebody that's never been gone from this music industry. If your superpower is your relevancy and you have a song called What Did I Miss? Then, to be honest, that's not actual factuals. That's not even true, because how could you miss what has been going on for the last year or so? How could you miss what's been said about you? How could you miss why these guys felt some type of way? How could you miss that? How could that go over your head if you're the all-seeing, all-knowing guy, somebody that can actually listen to people's albums before they even come out? Somebody that's asking for the contracts. Like, how could you miss anything if you've been so omnipotent when it comes to music releases in hip-hop? How could you miss this? Right? And you're still talking about LeBron James, DeMar DeRozan. Like, to be honest, I understand the vitriol. I understand where it's coming from. But to be mad, to be angry, right? To feel betrayed, and to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you did nothing wrong, to me, that's not integrity, right? That's not self-discipline. That's not accountability. And it's the same theme that keeps on carouseling. It's the same theme that keeps recycling. Right? It's the finger pointing that is starting to get tiresome. It's the crybaby, the antics that's starting to get tiresome. The victim blaming, right? The victimhood role that you're trying to partake in, but still trying to act like you're the villain. Like, to me, that's the duality that is misunderstood. To me, that's the duality that's actually not making sense. Because how can you be a victim and a villain at the same time? How can you be the bad guy but still need saving from the heroes? Right?
Daddy, you didn't give me that burger.
I didn't give you that burger?
Yeah.
You want that burger?
Yeah.
Alright, stay down there. Let me finish this, I'll give you that burger. Close the door.
Okay.
Close the door. Close my door.
Okay.
Thank you. But how can you still be the villain and claim that you're the victim? Right? You have all these guns for protection. But how many people are going to bust these guns? How many people around you are going to shoot these guns? Right? And how many people are going to lay down their life for you just because you've paid them? These mercenaries, these hired guns, right? That don't have any true loyalty to you at the end of the day. You can't shoot all these guns that are outside at this damn pool side. You can't shoot all these guns on your own. So the fact that you got all these guns and it seems like your circle is getting smaller, it seems like the people that you can trust are shrinking, who else is going to be able to shoot those guns and bust those guns for you and put your life as a priority over theirs? Because all these mercenaries, all these hired guns, they're not going to do you even better than the fake friends that you thought you had in this industry. You know what I'm saying? What they say, a negative plus a negative equals a positive. A negative times a negative equals a positive. Right? So maybe that's the formula that you're aiming for. But I just feel like it's starting to be redundant. It's starting to be monotonous. It's starting to be, going in circles. Going around and around we go. Right? Ring around the rosy. Pocket full of posy. Right? It's just Wheel of Fortune. It's in the spin cycle. So I think we wanted to hear how Drake felt about this rap battle. How he felt about the friends betraying him. But I think trying to do it on an up-tempo song, I think that's kind of where it misses me. I didn't love the song. I didn't really like this song. But it had like 9 producers. I mean, of course, the production was amazing. But I just felt like the song itself wasn't the song that it could have been had he just focused on making music and still not trying to sub people and cry and whine about how people treated him because of how he treated them. Right? To me, that's not manly, that's not masculine. One thing that I did like when I saw the live stream, I did like the song Supermax. I did like how he was talking, how he was rapping on there. I would definitely like to hear that song on stream. I would like to hear that song on the new album for sure. But I mean, what did I miss? I feel like if that's the lead single, if that's the main song that you're going to try to push this album or new project forward with, I think okay. But I don't think that song is better than Nokia. It might do something on the charts because obviously you're Drake, and just the mentioning of people and things like that are going to boost the streams, are going to boost the numbers of the songs, and just wanting to hear what you have to say next. And when you say something, you speak again with that vitriol, that poison in your heart. And people are saying, why does Pusha T, why does he always having a rollout and he's trying to diss people? Why do these people have to have a rollout and they're dissing people? And Drake is doing the same thing that his fans are pointing the finger at other artists for doing, and it's like there's no accountability from that side at all. But one thing or one rapper that I like what they're doing, I like what JID is doing. Right? It was kind of crickets, it was kind of quiet when he was doing his rollout, when he announced his album coming on August 8th. He had a song, he had a music video, Work. Work was cool. Work was solid. But then it got quiet. We didn't know what was coming next. We didn't know what he had in the tuck. Right? And then all of a sudden he popped out with that 32 freestyle in the middle of the week. I believe it was Wednesday or Tuesday. But he did say he was the best. He did say he was the best in that song and that freestyle. And I like the confidence. I like the cockiness. I like the showboat. Right? And JID is showing his rapping skills. He's a rappity guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Lyrical Miracle. He bought his mama a house off that Lyrical Miracle spiritual stuff. And he's showcasing his powers. He's showcasing his skill set. He's showcasing his superpower, his ability to flow, his rhyme scheme, and his ability to use his voice as a instrument. Right? Whether it be animated, whether it be his tone changing, just whether it be the cadence of how he's coming on to the beat, just his overall presence on the mic, whether it be him with the feature or just him by himself, it's very, the aura is very strong, right? The presence is known when JID gets on the mic. Then he released Bo. Bo was more like young black ammo riding in that Lambo. Young black Rambo riding in that Lambo. Like Bo was more of like a boom bap type style song, right? So these are the two tracks he released on YouTube. He released Bo, I believe, on Thursday. He released 32 Freestyle on Wednesday, and then he doubled back, then released the Prelux. So when he did drop the 32 Freestyle on YouTube, he announced that there was going to be a Prelux, right? An EP right before the album. And the first thing that came to mind, I was like, I hope he doesn't do like Big Crit did. If you remember Live from the Underground, the mixtape right before Live from the Underground was Forever in a Day. And Forever in a Day, the mixtape, like, pretty much outweighed or just outperformed the actual album. And I feel like that's where Big Crit made the mistake. Obviously, Def Jam wasn't giving him the budget that he needed to clear some of these samples and really make the type of music that he needed to push. But I still feel like he dropped the ball. He did himself a disservice by releasing Forever in a Day after Live from the Underground. And that kind of messed up his trajectory, because his trajectory was that of Kendrick's, was that of Cole's, but he was Southern. And Wayne had opened the door for those Southern artists. T.I., Jeezy, they had all opened the door for us Southern artists to get going and be known in this industry for actually penmanship. And I think that's where he dropped the ball. So I relayed that to JID, and I was like, damn, I hope this project, this Prelux, I didn't know what he was going to have in store for us. I didn't know how many songs. I didn't know what. But I'm glad he did an EP. I'm glad he only did 4 songs, right? And Behold, right? That was just more a play off of 3 letters. When we talk about 3 letters, we talk about God. When we talk about 3 letters, we think about JID, the 3-letter name. And I feel like he was kind of making a play between that and just saying, behold, he's a rap god. Right? I felt like that in that intro song. He was really rapping. I think when he got with Yachty, he kind of made Yachty rap a little bit more. And he went on a tangent on that first verse and just kind of really gave you his skill set on his wordplay, like knew better. So I mean, with Yachty on there, even with his voice on there, it was something that you could take serious, but at the same time, it was something that was still like cool, calm, and collective. But you know what I'm saying, a little bit more lyrical than Yachty's giving us. Kind of like how Yachty did with J. Cole on that one feature. I think the recipe it was called. And then Lisa, I think Lisa to me was the best overall song on the EP, right? Where he was just by himself, but Black was on the hook. I think that was the best song. Uh, when it comes to rapping, when it comes to storytelling, I think that was how I envision God Doesn't Like Ugly, the album being. The Prelux, like, and then we go to Animals Part 1, so you know there's going to be a Part 2. Animals Part 1 with Eminem. I believe Eminem kind of stole the show on that song. JID started rapping fast, then he kind of slowed up his flow, gave us a couple of different flows, but I felt like with that beat, that slower flow didn't match, and if he would have just changed his cadence but kept it faster pace, I think he kind of would have matched the energy of Eminem. But Eminem really kind of showcased why he's still the best at doing that, and why even though JID got with him on Fuel, on his album Death of Slim Shady, even though JID gave him a run for his money, he pretty much got his get back on Animal. So it's not too many people that give JID like that type of business when they get on the song with them. And I think about the Wayne song that he did with JID on Forever Story when we talk about time, and then this Eminem Animals. I think Eminem got with JID, so you really don't see it much, but when you do see it, you're really pleased to see that some of these legacy acts and legends can really hold their own and show why they're still great and why they're not scared. And he need that collab with Dot. He said he need that collab with Dot. He fool with bruh. And I think one thing that's not being mentioned on this rollout or on this album is just his ties with Dreamville. And just the fact that he said that he want to do a song with Dot, that he need that collab with Dot, and he know how Dot did Dreamville. After Kendrick dissed Dreamville, Ari Lennox parted ways. Right? After Kendrick dissed Dreamville, hey, JID was saying he don't even fool with them Dreamville dudes like that. Right? After Kendrick dissed Dreamville, they started to crumble. They started to become shambles. They started to become skeletons of themselves. They were not full body. They were not of flesh or spirit anymore. They were just ragged bones. Like before JID, before Kendrick did the diss, right? And J. Cole did the apology. Like Dreamville was a whole different record label before the apology and after the apology. When we look back at Dreamville, we're gonna look at before and after the apology. And I still want Earth Gang to get away from Dreamville. I still want Earth Gang to get away from Dreamville, but they haven't. And I believe this is the album that JID will probably make his escape from Dreamville, probably just be on Interscope by himself and just kind of, you know what I'm saying, work with Interscope and just the powers that be in that in that office or that room. And we know PG Lang is tied to Interscope as well. They're tied to UMG. So I don't think it will be hard for him to get a Kendrick feature. I don't think it will be hard for him to team up with PG Lang. Because we know JID is one of the best wordsmiths. But one thing that's always been questioned is his ability to make songs. And I believe he can be a great song maker. But I think we got something with Bodies. We got something with Dance Now, Surround Sound. We got a couple of hits or just some songs that like made some noise, maybe charted, maybe went viral from TikTok, Instagram, but we need something that's going to be on them top 10s on billboards. We need something that's going to play consistently on the radio. And it harkens back to what Punch said on the Curtis King interview. Like, a lot of rappers can slam dunk and shoot the three from the logo, but we need some people that can do mid range. And I think JID, he has to work on his mid range game when it comes to song making. I think the hooks are going to be able to be there for him. And we talk about Stick. Stick, I mean, he got some songs that he's on, some well known songs, but outside of hip hop, it'll be hard pressed to find somebody that knows who JID is. It's a lot of people outside of hip hop that's just starting to know who Kendrick Lamar is. So the fact that people don't know who JID is, and inside the culture we revere him as one of the best artists, probably number 4, right next up behind Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. So I think that's kind of how I look at it. And then we got to go to somebody toxic, or the the people say he's toxic, right? But one of my favorites in the R&B landscape, Brent Fayez. I think he was overlooked this July 4th weekend. I think he was overlooked. Nobody's really talking about the couple of releases. Only those certified Brent Fayez fans like myself. But when we talk about Tony Soprano, when we talk about Peter Pan, just the wordplay and just how he stayed on topic and on theme with those songs, and just how he's still doing what he does in his own way, like, I think he's undeniable. I think he's great. I think he deserves our attention. I didn't like Larger Than Life like that. I'm not gonna lie. But I did like the project before Larger Than Life. I think Larger Than Life was cool. But just to get that Tony Soprano, get that Peter Pan, just to get some new songs from him, when we haven't heard from him, I think it might have been since 2023. I don't know if we heard, I don't know if Larger Than Life was last year, but I think it was. But just to get some new songs from him, I think that really made a difference. I think that really keeps him back into the discussion of R&B. I think he's going to be able to remain relevant because he's just one of those guys that has that niche fan base that just loves what he do. And I'm one of those people that really likes what he does. I know a lot of people give him flack for singing a certain way, or singing off key. I haven't been to one of his concerts. I haven't seen him perform, but just his song making is second to none. His song making is undeniable. It's incredible. It really pulls you in, and it really just makes you a fan. And if you're a guy that has had certain emotions, like towards women, about women, like from a player standpoint, you know, or you thought you was a pimp back in the day, or you just thought you was a ladies' man, like, he kind of taps on those buttons, right? And I wouldn't say he triggers us, because there's nothing to be upset about, but it just makes me so reminiscent and nostalgic when I go back to my days of when I thought I was, you know what I'm saying, P. So that's just what I love about him. He brings not that side out of me, but he can invoke that emotion out of me to where it just makes me think about like how I felt in those days. And you know what they always say, if it's in you, it's in you. It never goes away. You just got to know how to control it. You just got to know how to compartmentalize. And I mean, technically, you got to suppress it. Maybe that's not the best way to say it. Maybe that sounds sad. But if you got that dog in you, you know, you got to suppress it. And, you know, when Brent sings how he sings and just talks how he talks, it just makes you think like that. I can't help it. So, salute to Brent Fayez.